Well, I was a little more tactful.
You didn't say kiss my ear back?
Oh, no, but I can still change
I'm disappointed.
See the sound on this
They
camera.
would publish it that way.
Well, I started off just by saying that
Richard's a school teacher too,
we've
so.
had to
Oh yeah, his name will be in it.
endure his questionable talents for years and how he always gets away with it by using weasel words like it seems like he's done this, that way he can disclaim any harmful intent from it. But then I said, however, I have to point out this, how can find either in the stage directions, the dialogue, or in the author's original intent, any place where I have either excised or censored this kiss, I will write a check to his favorite charity for $100.
You mentioned us, and said we did.
You might want to send a separate letter. And then I said, if he cannot, I expect, or otherwise respect it, journal, that your reviewer cannot do it without this graphic representation. I said, look forward to hearing from you very shortly. I was very calm. The author of The Murder Game, not that fag who knocked off his wife. When he says, I love you, Ian.
It's disgusting.
2 days in a
It's an
row.
ongoing.
It's the 2 days
It's a battle.
per year. This is my annual 2 days.
So's her, that's what she said.
Vested.
Yes. No,
Remember, it's
my
taken the
Christmas
vested night too.
tonight.
It's coming to the play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 8 other faculty
And
members.
8 other faculty members, and Deborah invited.
Do it.
So there's like 8 coming this evening?
Uh-huh.
We'll do you proud, and Chris also.
Will you come out and meet him?
We'll do you proud.
Will you come out and meet him?
Show up.
Will you really?
For a principal, I'll do anything for a principal. I know who they are. I'll be there.
All right.
We'll put on our happy faces.
I love you guys.
We love you.
I love you, man.
Love you. What's her name again? Susan, we love you, Susan.
May I call you Sharon? Sharon?
Oh, Sharon.
This is Sharon. We love working with Sharon. She's the best.
I had Sharon.
Where does she
Revine.
live? More.
Your dad liked it? Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. You know what's so odd? Afterwards, he would talk about, you don't remember this from Harvard.
Come back and they said,
How are we?
yeah, I remember. I'm
here.
Good.
You know, old
I'm
David
here,
Dobson,
ready.
let's clip it. I was like, oh, really?
Winding down.
You should.
He's got the camera,
Even
so
for
you got
1
it
year.
waiting for you.
Even 1
But
year.
You could have ruined the whole videotape.
The thing in my nose is.
I mean, I give him that, I jerk your teeth. No, she's not.
I'm
I just
fine.
knocked her in the head with a chair. She went down to the lab. I went,
Joe, you go on for me tonight. Be a good one.
dude, I'm gonna drop my drawer.
Oops.
Trust me, I'll push it. Deathtrap.
Oh.
A thriller in 2 acts. 1 set, 5 characters. A juicy murder in Act 1, unexpected developments in Act 2. Sound dialogue, good construction, laughs in all the right places, highly commercial.
Well, darling, that's wonderful. I'm so happy for you. Well, for both of us.
Happy? Why on earth happy?
It's yours, isn't it? The idea you had in August?
The idea I had in August has gone the way of the idea I had in June and the way of the idea I had in whenever it was before then. In a fireplace, up the chimney, out over Fairfield County, pollution in its most grisly form. This came in the mail today from one Clifford Anderson. He was one of the corps of the seminar.
Oh.
Dear Mr. Brule, I hope you don't mind my sending you my play Deathtrap, which I finished retyping at 2 o'clock this morning. Since I couldn't have written it without the inspiration of your own work and the guidance and encouragement you gave me last summer, I thought it only fitting that you should be the first person to read it. If you find it 1/10 as good as any of your own thrillers, I'll consider my time well spent and the fee for the seminar more than adequately recompensed.
That's nice.
No, it isn't. It's fulsome.
Oh.
Please excuse the carbon copy. The local Xerox machine is on the fritz, and I couldn't bear the thought of waiting a few days to send my firstborn child off to its spiritual father. My italics is sentiment.
Uh-huh.
I hope you'll call or write as soon as you've read it and let me know whether you think it's worthy of, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Son of a bitch, he even types well. I think I remember him. Enormously obese, 400 pounds, glandular condition. I wonder where he got my address.
From the university?
Probably.
Is it really that good? His first play?
It can't miss. A gifted director couldn't hurt it. It'll run for years. It'll clothe and feed generations of amateurs. They can easily be opened up for a movie. George C. Scott, Liv Ullmann.
Trish Van Devere.
There's a part in there for her, too. The damn thing's perfect.
I should think you'd be proud that one of your students has written a saleable play.
For the first time in 11 years of marriage, darling, drop dead.
My goodness.
Well, I'd like to beat the wretch over the head with a mace there and bury him in a 400-pound hole somewhere and send the thing off in my own name to David Merrick or Hal Prince. The best idea I've had in ages.
Oh, my poor Sidney.
I mean, well, what's the point in owning a mace if you don't use it once in a while?
Oh, you'll get an idea of your own any day. Nothing better than that one.
Don't bet on it. Not that we have any money to bet with.
We're doing very nicely in that department. Not one creditor beating at the door.
No, but for how long? I just about cleaned you out now, haven't
Now,
I?
we've cleaned me out, and it's been a joy and delight every step of the way. Your next play will simply have to be a terrific smash.
Thanks. Just what I needed, an easing of the pressure.
Hey, why don't you bring it to Merrick's attention? Maybe you could get a commission of some kind.
The finder's fee, you mean?
That's what it's called.
A great and glorious 1%, maybe 1.5%.
Better yet, why don't you produce it yourself? You've been involved in enough productions to know how it's done, and it might be a beneficial change of pace.
Darling, I may be devious and underhanded enough to be a successful murderer, but not, I think, a Broadway producer. One shouldn't overestimate one's talents.
Collaborate with him. Isn't there room for improvement in the play? Good as it is, the professional touch, a little reshaping and sharpening.
That's a possibility.
I'm sure he'd be thrilled to work with you.
We'd split 50-50.
You'd get top billing.
No, naturally. Reverse alphabetical order, dear boy. It's done all the time.
On the basis of who you are.
Sidney Four-Flops Brule.
Sidney, author of the murder game Brule.
Oh, the murder game? I think I remember that one. Back in the time of King Arthur, wasn't it?
Not quite that long ago.
18 years, Mother. 18 years, and each one flying by faster than the one before. Nothing recedes like success. Well, that's a good one, isn't it? I think I could work that in somewhere. I mean, a has-been actor could say it. Recede is EDE, right?
Yes, you see, you would improve it.
Maybe the inevitable Sidney Brule flavor close in Boston.
Call him now. Where does he live?
Up Milford. You don't like the mace?
Definitely not. Blood on the carpet, and the next day Helga Tendorf is picking up our psychic vibration.
From Holland, I doubt it very much.
Sidney, what were you smoking at the party the other night? She's taken the McBain cottage for 6 months. Paul Wyman's doing a book with her. He was impersonating her for 15 minutes.
No, I thought he was finally coming out of the closet.
You see what a fine murderer you'd be. Helga Tendorf lives in practically on your doorstep and managed to not even notice it.
Does give one pause.
Well, it certainly should. Nan and Tom Wesson had her over for dinner the other night. She told Tom about his backaches, the money he'd put into silver and his father's thing for tall women. And she told Nan their au pair girl was going to leave, which she did just 2 days later. And she found a set of keys Nan lost in 1979. They were under the clothes dryer.
She's in the McBain cottage?
Right over yonder. Picking up our blips on her radar this instant, most likely.
Well, it seems Mr. Anderson has himself a collaborator. Not that I believe in ESP.
Police in Europe seem to. Tap of wine, she's here. She's supposed to be resting from pointing at murderers.
Wait a minute. The fat one didn't stay the full week, and I think his name was Quinn or Quincy or something. Bananas. I wonder if he's the one with the awfulest to stammer.
Easy way to find out.
Maybe a 3-hour conversation. Nah, busy. Probably talking to Mary.
Oh,
What's for dinner?
salmon.
Again?
Yes. Sidney, would you actually kill someone that haven't had a successful play?
Don't be foolish, darling. Of course I would. No, spoken in jest, Miss Dendorf.
It's Mrs. She's divorced.
No wonder. Who wants to stay married to a woman with ESP? Come on, don't fix me with that basilisk stare, darling. Whatever basilisk stare is. Wouldn't you like to go back into Sardis, secure in the knowledge that we won't be seated in the kitchen? Do you know how much this play could net its author in today's market? $2 million. Not to mention the Deathtrap t-shirts. That's not a reasonable motive for murder. I don't know what is. Wish you hadn't told me about her. Here we go. Yeah, Clifford Anderson. Sidney Brule. Yeah, well, yes, I did. About 15 minutes ago, as a matter of fact. And I must tell you that, in all sincerity, you have a very promising first draft. Yes. I was telling my wife, Myra, if you like, work it in a little bit more and reshape it and work in some laughs, it'll be right up there with Sleuth, the Murder Game, and Dial In. It has the makings, as we say. Well, I thought the Murder Game was finished the first time through, and then someone took me in hand and helped me reshape it and improved it tremendously. Well, I don't mind admitting at all, it was George S. Kaufman. Well, no, he didn't take any credit. Lord knows I begged him to, but he was badly in debt at the time and didn't want anybody to know that he had his share of the royalties. But I could be wrong about this, though. What sort of reaction have you had from other people? Nothing at all? Well, certainly someone's read it. I mean, some of your friends, your wife, some of the people at the seminar. No one at all? Oh, well, that sounds ideal. Complete isolation, you check the thermostat. Oh, and water the plants. That's great. Look, yeah, well, I'm surprised you've only written one since then. I've tossed off 2 or 3 already. Okay. Well, as a matter of fact, what's a marvelous thriller? It's about a woman with ESP. It's based on Helga Tendorf, the Dutch psyche. She's a neighbor of ours. I'm calling it The Frowning Wife. Well, I've come up with a jazzier title than that. Oh, I love Deathtrap, incidentally. The title as well as the play. Or the first draft, I should say. Yeah, but far too many to go over the phone. Oh, listen, I'm free this evening. Why don't you drive down tonight? We could go over it scene by scene. Oh, well, why don't you take the train down then? Well, that'd be better anyway. I could pick you up at the Westport station. Oh, no, we live way out in the country. Have to send up flares when we have guests. I'll hold on. His car's in for repairs. He's house sitting for a couple in Europe, unmarried.
Do you think you'd be open to the idea of collaborating?
Well, he might be. Was George S. Kaufman still alive when the murder came? Well, yes. No, that's too early. When's the next one? No, that's too late. Okay, let's make it a 7:29 then. Yeah, there's 11:00 something that will get you back to New York from Westport. Great. Oh, and would you bring the original with you? The carbon's a bit of a strain on these weary old eyes. Great. I'll see you at 7:29 then. Oh, and Terrence. Do you mind if I call you Terrence? Why? Oh, Clifford! Sorry, Clifford. Listen, I have some errands to run, so I may be a little late. Now, just wait at the station and I'll be along eventually. Navy blue Mercedes. Right. Goodbye. I think he's the one without the obvious defects.
What errands do you have to run?
Oh, didn't you say something about library books, dropping them off or picking them up?
No, I didn't.
Oh, what you did? Local Xerox machine has been fixed, but he wants to wait a few days in case I have any minor changes to make. No one knows he's working on it. No one else has even read it.
And no one will see you picking him up.
Well, with a thought did cross my mind, I'm still in the habit of planning crimes on paper.
Why did you tell him to bring the original copy?
You heard me. The carbon is a strain on these weary old eyes, and we need 2 copies to go through. I don't want him leaning over my shoulder for 2 hours exhaling cheeseburger.
I'm sure he has another carbon filed away someplace.
Probably, along with his drafts, outlines, early notes, all this stuff. Opening night of my dazzling triumph, his gray-haired mother comes down the aisle accompanied by the Milford and the Westport Police Department. Book him.
Yeah, remember
Hello. Oh, hi, Lottie. How are you? No, I don't think so. I'm working on something right now, and I don't want to lose touch with it. It's in the embryo stage. But Myra might want to go. Hold on a second. You're going to see that French thing at the Fine Arts, too. I could drop you off on the way.
No, I don't want to see it. Not tonight.
Lottie, no, Myra will pass, too. Well, she's a bit under the weather. Great, okay. Well, give us a report tomorrow, will you? Great. Have fun. Goodbye. You don't have to stand guard over me. I only kill when the moon is full.
Why did you lie just now? Why didn't you just tell her someone was coming over?
Is it their business? I don't know why I lied. I'm just a liar.
You know, the moon was full last night. Except for a little sliver down near the bottom.
Really? Well, then I'll just have to exercise massive self-control. And remind myself of that second carbon, which almost certainly exists.
If it weren't for that, Sydney, would you? Could you?
Probably not. And probably I'd chicken out even if he was the tiny one. You know, they say committing murder on paper siphons off one's hostile impulses, and I'm sure it does. But at the same time, it opens one to the possibility of committing real murder. Gives it a familiar feel of an idea worth considering. Well, just like owning a weapon and handling it opens one, however simply, to the idea of using it. But there's a world of difference between a paper victim and a real one. Now, I'm sure Clifford Anderson will go home in the same state in which he arrives, with his manuscript clutched in his tiny or huge or relatively normal hand.
I'm sure he'll jump at the chance to work with you. And afterwards, you'll do a play that's all your own.
I'm sure I shall, sooner or later.
Maybe you could do something based on Helga Tendorf, but not called The Frowning Wife.
The Smiling Wife, a cheerful up kind of thriller. You know, there could be an idea in this. A playwright who's having a dry spell receives a newly hatched play by a torpid seminar. I'm waiting, it's impossible opening, isn't it? I mean, if the play's highly commercial and the playwright has a room full of weapons.
Put it in your notebook.
I will. Pity he's got the title Deathtrap. Actually, it was built in 1794, but the hardware store was out of 9, so I backdated it 10 years. The Historical Society had kittens.
It's a beautiful house.
Go watch out for the bean. You can tell an authentic colonial by the visitor's bruised foreheads.
Hello.
Oh, this is Clifford Anderson, my wife Myra.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Come in. I was beginning to worry.
Oh, the room you work in?
How did you guess?
Well, the typewriter and all those posters. Is that the mace that was used in Murderer's Child?
Yes, and the dagger up there's from the murder games. Oh, careful, it's sharp. The real one was substituted in Act 2.
In for the kill?
Yes.
I can't understand why that play didn't run.
Critics peeing on it might be the answer.
Train must have been late, was it?
No, Mr. Brule was. The train was on time.
I had to get gas. Frank insisted on fondling the spark plugs.
Do you know that Gunpoint was the first play I ever saw? Yeah, I had an aunt in New York, and I came in on the train one Saturday by myself, another person, from Hartford. She took me to the matinee. I was 12 years old.
If you're trying to depress me, you've made it.
How? Oh, I'm sorry, but that's how I got hooked on thrillers.
Angel Street did it for me. Bella, where is that grocery list? Hey, what have you done with it, you poor, wretched creature? I was 15.
Sounds like a disease being passed from generation to generation.
Oh, it is. Thrilleritis malignus, the fevered pursuit of the once said 5-character moneymaker.
Well, I'm not pursuing money. Well, not that I wouldn't like to have some, so I could have a place like this to work in. That isn't the reason I wrote Deathtrap.
You're still an early case.
Well, it's not a disease. It's a tradition. A superbly really challenging theatrical framework in which every possible variation seems to have been played. Can I conjure up a few new ones? Can I startle an audience that's been on Angel Street, that's dialed in for murder, that's witnessed the prosecution, that's played the murder game?
Well, thank you for a lovely speech, and thank you for saving me for last.
I was coming to sleuth.
Glad I stopped you.
So am I. I'm a little euphoric about all that's happening.
Well, you should be.
Would you like something to drink?
Yes, please. Do you have some ginger ale?
Yes, that's Sydney Scotch.
No, I believe I'll have ginger ale too, dude.
These aren't all from your plays, are they?
Heavens, no, I haven't written that many. Friends bring me things, and I prowl the antique shop.
Now there's a disease.
Isn't a super excuse for not working. I found this in Ridgefield the other day, 18th century German.
It's beautiful.
Oh, God. As you can see, I'm keeping my spiritual child under lock and key.
Oh, I've got the original. Good.
The doctor says I should be wearing glasses, but he says the longer I can go without them, the better off I'm going to be. There you are. Oh, there you are.
It's not in a binder for the Xerox.
Never mind.
I've got the first draft here, too. There's a scene between Diane and Carlo that I may have been wrong to cut, and the Diane and Richard scene starts earlier, before they know Carlo's back.
Did you do several drafts?
No, just the one. It's a mess, but I think you'll be able to decipher it if you'd like to see the two scenes.
Oh, sure. No, I thought there was a scene I wasn't seeing between Diane and Carlo before the murder.
Yes, I was afraid the act would run too long.
Thank you. Well, what else have you got in there?
Oh, the outline, which I departed from considerably. I made it the way you suggested, a page per scene, loose leaf, and some lines I jotted down and never got to use.
Threw away the ones you used as you used them?
Yes.
Same way I work.
And everything was in the one envelope, so I just grabbed it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sydney?
Thank you.
It's a 2-hour walk to the station, so I had to leave right after we talked.
2 hours?
Oh, I walk longer than that. I'm one writer who's not going to get flabby. I work out with weights every morning. I came this close to making the Olympic decathlon team.
Really?
Well, this close.
I'll be careful not to argue with you. I'm on the gold medal Olympic sloth team. Fall asleep in any position. Deathtrap.
Deathtrap.
Deathtrap. It'll be toasted with more than ginger ale if Sydney's right about it, and I'm sure he is.
I sure hope so. Toasted his beer the other night.
But we have some, would you rather?
Oh, no, this is fine, thanks.
Are you planning to stay in here?
Yes.
Do you think I overdid the set description? All the exact locations for each piece of furniture?
No. I don't think so. I don't know. No, it's fine. It couldn't be better. You certainly type beautifully. Electric?
No. I can't see electric typewriters. If there's a power failure, you can't work.
That's the whole point in owning one. The trouble I find with them, at least with Zenobia here, is you can only get one decent carbon. Yeah. The second carbon is to be so muddy as to almost be illegible. You don't have that problem.
Mr. Anderson, Sydney has some wonderful ideas for improving your play.
I'm sure he does. I'm looking forward to hearing them.
Dear, couldn't you do that upstairs?
There's no good work on it there.
I seem to recall a chair in our room with the light decided bright enough for the engraving of Bibles on pinheads.
That light is too bright and the chair is too low.
Darling, this is Clifford's first play, and I'm sure he would prefer our discussion to be in private, wouldn't you? I mean, don't have to be embarrassed to say so.
No, I don't mind Mrs. Brill being here. In fact, I kind of like it. Makes me feel a little less as if I've been summoned to the principal's office.
Sorry if I are.
Dude, all those plays, man, the things you say, I never would have thought of calling my typewriter anything but Smith Corona.
As long as it answers.
You're welcome to read the play too, Mrs. Brill, if you'd like to.
I would.
I'm curious to know how women are going to react to Diane's decision about the gun.
Yeah, Sydney told me a little bit about it at dinner, but he stopped at all the surprises. I don't even know who killed who.
Oh, good, you shouldn't. I think that was a problem with Murderer's Child, if you'll forgive me for saying so. From the opening curtain, it was so obvious that Dr. Mannheim was going to bash poor Teddy. I mean, he didn't leave any room for doubt. I mean, the audience should suspect, yes, but they shouldn't be absolutely certain, should they? Doesn't that tend to diminish the suspense?
Maybe you have a point there. But you mentioned on the phone that you wanted Myra to read your play. I would have asked you to bring another carbon. She could be reading it now while we have our discussion.
Well, I didn't know she'd be interested, and anyway, I don't have one.
You don't have another carbon?
I've only got the one. I thought I'd Xerox the original as soon as I was through.
No point in 2 or 3 these days in the age of Xerox.
Well, she could read that one and we could pass the pages back and forth. Or I could sit next to you.
Wait. Let me think for a moment. I want to think.
Mr. Anderson, Sidney is bursting with creative ideas about your play. I've never seen him so enthusiastic. He often gets plays in the mail, finished plays ready for production, supposedly, from his agent, producers, aspiring young playwrights. Usually he just laughs and sneers and says the most disparaging things you could possibly imagine. Now, I know that he can improve your play tremendously, turn it into a hit that would run for years and years and make more than enough money for everyone involved.
Is that what you meant by I'll be quiet?
I won't be quiet. I'm going to say something that's been on my mind ever since your phone conversation. It's wrong of you to expect Sidney to give you the fruit of his experience, his hard-won knowledge, without any quid pro quos if the seminar were still in session.
See, he offered to give me that.
Well, it was wrong of you to have offered to give it to him. Now, I'm the one in this household whose feet is on the ground and whose eye is on the checkbook, so I'm going to make a suggestion to you, Sidney. A suggestion that's going to come as a shock to you, but I want you to give it your grave, thoughtful, and earnest consideration. Do you promise to do that? Put aside the play that you're working on now. Put aside the play about Helga Tendorf and how she finds murderers and keys under the clothes dryer. Put it aside and help Mr. Anderson with his play. Collaborate with him. That's what I'm suggesting. That's what I think would be the fair, sensible, and rational thing to do in this situation. Deathtrap by Clifford Anderson and Sidney Brule. Unless, of course, Mr. Anderson feels that in deference to your age and reputation, it should be the other way around.
That is a shocker. Put aside the drowning wife?
I thought it was frowning.
Drowning? What kind of title would that be? I'm calling it the drowning wife at the moment. It has these women's lib overtones, plus the ESP. It's such a timely play.
It will keep, Sidney. People are always interested in psychics who can point at someone and say, this man murdered that man. Put it aside. Please. Do for Mr. Anderson what George S. Kaufman did for you.
Quite persuasive, Myra. How does it grab you, Clifford?
Suddenly feels as if I'm on the spot.
Well, you are. Myra's put you there. She's put us both there.
Well, I felt like it should be brought up before anything was done.
Quite right. What's your reaction, Clifford?
Well, first of all, I'm overwhelmed. Really honored and was staggered that Sidney Brule would even consider the idea of just putting aside one of his own plays to work with me on mine. I mean, there I was in that theater at 12 years old, and who thought...
We get the gist of this passage.
It's a golden opportunity I'm sure I ought to seize with both hands.
You should, yes.
But the thing is, it's as if I went to a doctor, one of the world's leading specialists, and recommended surgery. Well, even with my respect for his eminence and experience, I'd still want to get a second opinion, wouldn't I? I'm sure your ideas are terrific, but, well, you're right, Mrs. Brule. It wouldn't be fair for me to hear them now without having some sort of understanding or arrangement. And to be perfectly honest, right now, without having heard them, I feel the Deathtrap is very good as it is. Not perfect, certainly. I guess it could still use a little fine-tuning, but I'm not sure it needs surgery. Now, what I ought to do, I think, is Xerox a few copies in the morning and send them off to some of the agents who recommended us. And if they say, too, that it needs major rewrites, well, I'll be coming back here begging you to do what Mrs. Brule suggested, and I'll be willing to make whatever arrangement you think is right. The same one you had with Mr. Kaufman, I guess. I hope I haven't offended you.
Not at all.
Mr. Anderson, agents know about contracts, but they don't know about...
Don't, Myra, don't beg him. He'll think he has the wealth of the Indies here, and we're Mr. and Mrs. Jean Lafitte.
I'd never think anything like that, Mr. Brule. I'm grateful you're willing to go out of your way to help me.
No, but I'm not reeling. Now that I've had a moment to think about it, I would never put aside as timely and inventive as the drowning wife to do one wet nurse on one as speculative as Deathtrap. Sit down, Myra. You're making me nervous standing there hyperventilating. Do as she says, give it to a few agents, and if they feel rewrites are in order, get back to me. Who knows? I might hit a snag. It's happened once or twice.
Thank you, I will.
Although I doubt I shall. I have it completely outlined and halfway done, and I have another play in the works based on Harry Houdini.
Oh?
Yeah, these are a pair of his handcuffs. He's always been an idol of mine.
Sidney!
Relax, Myra. Clifford is not the type of person who would steal someone else's idea. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Of course not.
You see, His heart as far from fraud as heaven from earth. A remarkable man, Houdini. Made all his own magical apparatus. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Well, they're quite amazing. Have a look.
Sidney, please.
Sit down, Myra.
Sidney, don't, for God's sake, think!
He is an honest young man. Now, will you sit down and stop being so all-fired suspicious of everyone who walks through that door? We had a nasty experience a few years back with a plagiaristic playwright whose name I won't mention, since he's gone to his maker recalled for repairs. Ever since then, Myra becomes alarmed if I even tell a fellow author the language I'm working in. Don't take it personal. I'm a good-looking those. They're quite remarkable.
They look so old.
And meant to be, and apparently solid and escape-proof.
Certainly seem that way.
Be my guest.
You mean put them on?
That's what I mean. You're holding my prize pair of $1,200 Houdini handcuffs, and I say, be my guest? But come on.
$1,200.
Sure. Now, all you have to do is like turn, press, and pull. No. You have to do it in a quick single motion. Turn, press, pull. Turn, press, pull.
Nope, they're not opening.
It worked for me yesterday morning. It's not a question of them not being oiled.
I guess I'm just not Houdini.
That's okay. I have a key here. Somewhere. Don't go fussing with them. You're liable to ruin them. Sorry. Key. Where are you, little brass key?
You know, this could be a good thriller. It could, I mean it.
How so?
Well, a young playwright sends his first play to an older playwright who conducted a seminar that the young playwright attended. And nobody else has read it, and then he comes to visit the older playwright to get some ideas for rewrites. And he brings along his original and all his notes and everything. Of course, you'd have to have the Xerox breaking down to explain why there are only the 2 copies. And the play would have to be a very good one, the one the young playwright wrote, I mean. And the older playwright would have to have nothing much going for him at the time.
An enormous collection of unlikely circumstances, don't you think?
Yes, maybe. But we've almost got it here, haven't we? The only difference, of course, is that you've got the drowning wife and with the Houdini thing, and well, Deathtrap probably isn't worth killing for. I'll bet nobody even saw me getting into your car.
There you are. You've solved the second play problem.
I think it could be turned into something fairly interesting. What do you think, Mrs. Brule?
I don't like it. It frightens me.
Wonder if I could have put it up here somewhere.
Oh, I forgot to mention. I should be getting a phone call any minute now. There's a girl who's coming around to see me at 8:30. That's about what it is now, isn't it? And, well, I couldn't reach her before I left, so I left a note on the hall mirror telling her where I was and giving her the number so she can call and find out what train I'll be taking back, so she can pick me up at the station. 1 2-hour walk per day is just about enough for me, so if you don't find that key soon, you're going to have to hold the phone for me.
How is she going to get in to read the note?
She's got a key.
You're not a very conscientious house sitter.
She's honest.
Oh, you said in the car you didn't know anybody in Milford except a few tradespeople.
Well, she's from Hartford. Her name is Marietta Klonowski, and she teaches at Quirk Middle School. Phys Ed.
Where'd you get the number? It's not listed.
Well, they gave it to me at the university along with her address. I'm friendly with Mrs. Beecham there.
Beecham?
That short, red-haired lady with the eye shade.
Well, if she gave you the right number. We had it changed a few weeks ago, and the same caller was boring us, and I didn't notify old you of Con. What number did you leave for Miss Klonowski?
You know, I don't remember it.
226-3049 or 226-5457?
The first one. 3049.
The new number. Since I notified the university and clean forgot how strange and how untypical of me.
Would you go on looking for the key, please?
Certainly.
My heart won't take it.
Won't take what, dear? My finding the key?
Oh.
I think the two of you thought I was going to grab the base and pull a Dr. Mannheim there. I mean, is that why you've withdrawn so far upstage, Clifford?
Well, you can't write a play like that and not have a mind that envisions possibilities.
Quite right, but I'm slightly paranoid myself. What is your excuse, oh loyal and trusting wife? 11 years of marriage, and she thinks I'm capable of flesh and blood and murder. It's a lesson for you there. Let me hear it. Uncuff yourself. Deathtrap is promising, but it's not that promising.
I'm glad it isn't.
You know, I think your best dimension so far is the name Marietta Klinovska. That's low guy. Thanks. I can see the sweat on her forearms after the basketball game. I think Mrs. Beecham's eye shape was a bit too much.
Well, I thought it was a kind of convincing detail you told us to try for. Are you sure this is the right key?
Houdini opened. Right on the rug, 1 point for neatness. Uh-oh, your heart seems to have taken it.
Barely.
Okay, well, we'll give it a rest on the Riviera, right after the opening. And we'll get another housekeeper, too, that way you can relax. And another car, a roll.
We're going to be arrested.
Well, see how a young man leaves a house-sitting job, the police won't even bother to yawn.
Leaving his clothes and his typewriter.
Who knows these young people these days, especially the would-be rioters? I mean, maybe he decided he wouldn't be, and he went off to join a cult or preach at college here. Or maybe someone broke into the house and stole Smith Corona.
What are you going to do with him?
Buried behind the garage. No, the vegetable patch. Easier digging. Myra, get a brandy or something. Myra, I am going to be a winner again. All our dear friends are going to see you living off my money. Picture their confusion. Full moon, all right. I hope this isn't going to become a monthly practice. Would you mind giving me a hand? It's been done, Myra. I don't see the point in my getting a hernia. Thank God he wasn't the fat one. Make mine a double. I got myself a bit of a chill. Along with incipient blisters, aching arms, and small devils poking pitchforks in what I believe to be my lumbago. You know, in the murder child, I had Dr. Mannheim bury Teddy in 45 minutes. In future, I'll know better. No, we're out one part, right, but I saw some at Yield House the other day. I have the feeling you're about to deliver a speech. Would you mind holding off till I got myself a brandy and sat down?
I'd intended to. Learned something in 11 years of melodrama.
Good girl. Oh. Oh. Go.
I'd be very happy living off your money, Sidney, but I don't relish the thought of living off his. I tried to figure out how you could do it, bearing in mind your disappointments and your embarrassment at our financial situation, but I can't. I'm going to feel like a winner again. We're both going to know it's his play. I can't understand that either. You're alien to me, Sydney, and it can't be only since 5 o'clock this afternoon. You must have always been very different from the person I thought you were. I don't think the police are going to be as unconcerned as you do, so I don't want anything to happen that's going to look suspicious when they come to question us.
How well did he vanish from Milford? This is Westport.
They'll check his past associations. He must have gotten your address from the university, even if he did lie about the phone number.
I'll say he wrote me. I mean, a twerpy little letter asking for advice, and I answered it, or maybe I threw it away.
In a couple of months, if we haven't been arrested, I want you to leave. We'll have some arguments in people's living rooms. You can write them for us. Little tips about money or something, and then you'll move out. I wish you could take the vegetable patch with you, but since you can't, you'll buy it from me. As soon as the money starts rolling in, before the Rolls Royce and before you go to the Riviera, you'll buy it from me. Vegetable patch, the house, the whole 9.3 acres. We'll get Mariesher or Buck Raymond to send fair price.
You have had a
Get away from me!
You have had a shocking and painful experience, and so have I. I'm absolutely terrified I'll be caught and guilt-ridden that I was insane enough to do it. I'm going to give half the money to the new dramatist league, I swear. This isn't the time to talk about anything. In a few days, when we're ourselves again, things will look clearer.
Well, you are yourself right now, and so am I. Go ahead. You wrote me a twerpy little letter, officer.
Well, it's Lottie and Ralph come to yammer about the movie.
It's probably held a table.
Lottie and Ralph, damn. We've got to let them in. Can you face them? Maybe you better go upstairs.
No, I'll stay here and let you worry that I'll fall apart.
Coming! Who is it?
It's I, your neighbor in House of McBain. Please, will you let me come in? It's not urgent I speak to you. I called the information, but the lady would tell me not your number. Please, will you let me come in? I am friend of Paul Biden. It's most urgent. Please. Oh. I apologize for so late I come, but you will forgive when I make the explaining. Oh, yeah. Yeah, is room I see. Big. Yeah, and window, so. Oh, and pain. Such pain. 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 Pain.
Well, we're not up to snuff today, either one of us.
Oh, yeah. Or just as I see them. Oh, why you keep such pain-covered things?
Well, they're antiques and souvenirs from place. I'm a playwright.
Oh, yeah. Cindy Bro, Paul Wyman tells me. We make together book.
That's my wife, Myra.
How do you do?
What gives you such pain, dear lady?
Nothing, I'm fine, really.
Oh, no. Something you see pains you. Paul tells you of me? I am Helge Tendorf. I am silent.
Yes, he did. We were going to ask you.
For hours now, I feel the pain from here. And more than pain. Oh, yeah. Yeah, since 8:30, when begins the Merv Griffin show. I am on its next speaker. You will want?
Oh, sure, make a note of that, Myra.
Thursday night, Peter Herkos also. What they want him for, I do not know. No. I called the information, but the lady will tell me not your number. I called Paul, but he is not at home. He is in place with red walls, eating with chopsticks. Yeah. I called the information again. I said, it's urgent. You must give me number. I am Helge Tendorf. I am psychic. She said, guess number. I tried, but all I see is 226, which is everybody else. So I come here now. Because the pain gets worse. Oh, yeah, and more than pain.
More than pain?
Yeah. There's something else here. Something frightening. No, it will interfere.
What will?
Drink you would get me. No, never drink. Must keep unclouded head. Only when images become too many, and then I get drunk. Oh, yeah. But used many times by beautiful dark-haired woman. But only pretending
in my play, The Murder Game. It was used every night by a beautiful dark-haired actress.
He'll be used again by another woman. Not in play, but because of play. Yeah, because of play. Another woman uses this knife. Oh. You should put these things away.
No, I was going to sell the whole collection. I'm tired of them anyway.
Then you better do it soon. Maybe too late. I do not enjoy to make unhappy people, you understand. But when I see something, I must speak, yeah?
I don't know. Actually, you could keep quiet and, you're on vacation.
Oh, no. If my God gives gift, must speak. There is danger here. Much danger to you and to you. Oh, yeah. Is death in this room? Oh, is something that carries death, that invites death? Deathtrap is a word in English, yeah? Deathtrap?
Yes.
The title of the play I'm working on, that's what you're getting. There's a death in the play. I'm sure that's what you're responding to. I work here at the desk.
Maybe, but here's like real death.
Well, I try to be convincing. Act out everything as I write it.
Man, young man, here in this room, he wears boots. He attacks you.
He attacks me.
Yeah, with one of those. He comes as friends to work with you, to help you. But he attacks. Oh, is confusion here?
Oh, certainly be on the lookout for a young man in boots. We're going to be Japanese from now on around here. Shoes off at the door.
He sits in this chair. Oh, yeah. It speaks of Diane.
Well, there's a Diane in the play.
And two other people, Smith and Colonna. Yeah, no. One person, small, black. Is man in play, small, black, named Smith Colonna?
Never heard the name.
Oh, it's very confusing image. Well done. Nothing else helps.
What an impressive demonstration. Well, you picked up the title of the play and Diane and the dagger business. That's really awesome.
Remember, what else I tell you? Another woman uses the knife. Not in play, but because of play, and young men in boots attacks you. Of these two things I am certain. All else is confusion. Pain is less now, yeah?
Yes. I mean, there wasn't any, really.
Magnificent gift. I used to be skeptical about ESP, but you proved it's genuine.
Oh, it's genuine, all right. And sometimes not happy gift to be honor of.
Have you always had it?
Oh, yeah, since I was child. Never could I enjoy a game of hide and seek, you understand? It was too easy. And parents never read Christmas presents. Why wasting paper? And in my teenagers, walking with boys. Ah, such images.
Won't you have that drink now? I'd really like to talk.
No, thank you. I must be getting back to the house, but you will come and take dinner with me sometime. I will tell you all my life. Would make very good play. Oh, wait, child, you are living in large house with yellow shutters, yeah?
That's right, yes.
Always when moon is full, I am in top form. Good night.
Good night.
Be careful. You also.
I intend to. No boots allowed tonight.
Oh, remember, Thursday night, Merle Griffin show. Yeah.
Okay, if that's the best you can do, we don't have much to worry about.
Not afraid of the danger she saw?
Not necessarily.
We're going to be arrested.
Well, I don't see how. I mean, if the police do come by and they do bring her, which hardly seems likely, what difference does it make? I mean, she's going to have them combing the tri-state area for a small black boy with a spool of ribbon here and here going through his mouth.
She saw him sitting there. She heard him speaking.
Yeah, but she got the main point backwards. See, this will all blow over. Tomorrow I'll boil the grog and throw it away. day, and then in a few weeks this will all be behind us. I couldn't help myself, Myra. So that play going out in the world tomorrow, and I'm sitting there so young, so lucky. Don't decide yet about throwing the old boy out, and please, I beg you, don't entertain any thoughts of using the dagger. It was just a joke, one of her confused images. Though if we do get a new housekeeper, I want her to have terrifically good references.
Sell the collection?
No, probably I should. No, I will, but not right now. I look too suspicious. Isn't it amazing? 18 years and Tanya's aura still permeates it.
Put it away someplace.
Exit dagger into desk.
Part of me was hoping you would do it. At the same time I was afraid you would. Part of me was hoping I saw the money too and your name.
You tried to stop me, you did your best. It was my doing and mine only. Help me carry him because I asked you to, and you were too stunned and too in the habit of helping to refuse. Anything goes wrong, there should be no confusion on that point whatsoever. But nothing's going to go wrong. I mean, in a week we're going to be celebrating leading producer Option's new Sidney Brule thriller. Successful playwrights admit envy. Let's lock up and go to bed. You know, I wonder if murder could be an aphrodisiac. Think what a blow that would be to the importers of ginseng root, not to mention the Department of Health, Education, and...
She's dead. I'm positive it worked.
How could it not? She's had minor ones over much less. I got news for you. Styrofoam hurts. You used a hell of a lot harder than you did in the motel.
The added adrenaline of the actual performance. You didn't make the strangling such a jolly experience, you know. Hey, I love that Helga Tendorf. I almost had a heart attack myself out there.
Same here.
That's spooky, the way she saw I was going to attack you.
Yeah, but she got a little backward. She had you doing with one of those.
It must have been the garrote getting mixed in.
Yeah, it's very confusing image. You know, just as well she came by, she'll be telling everybody she had felt the actual physical pain of the oncoming heart attack. A little bit helps. I've been telling everybody for days that Myra's been under the weather, not that any supporting evidence was needed.
Well, I'd better get my things in.
No rush. I won't be calling the doctor for a little while yet. We don't want him doing any miracles of resuscitation, do we?
What if Helga Tendorf comes back?
I don't know why she should. The pain stopped, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Hadn't thought of that.
Don't move around too much. You'll be spreading dirt around. I don't think I ought to burn these now. It'll take too long.
Why burn them at all? They're just old manuscripts.
Oh, true. We could cut them up and use the back for scraps. Oh, that's so chintzy. What the hell? I'll just say I was cleaning out my file when the Grim Reaper struck.
The closer you can stay to the truth, the better off you are.
You're a fount of homey wisdom, Cliffy boy. Farewell, Deathtrap. Would that you were the genuine article.
We can put my desk right here.
No, I have a surprise for you.
Oh, let me guess. I work in the maid's room.
Would I do that to you? You're going to work here in the handsomely converted stable as promised.
Then what's the surprise?
You'll see after the obsequies. I hope you don't mind Zenobia tearing away at full speed here. I think I'm going to try something on ESP. That was a pretty impressive demonstration despite the mistake.
I'm ready to get to work too.
Oh, that thing you mentioned at the seminar?
Well, no, I've got a better idea. It came to me last week while I was cleaning out my desk that there's a play there, and it's a full urban welfare office.
A thriller?
No, the truth is I began to lose my interest in thrillers. I'm ready to try something more honest, more relevant.
Although you've used those words, I'm going to let you stay. Go get yourself out of the car and I'll call it up.
Right.
Is he in? Oh, yes, he needs to call me. It's urgent. My wife's had a heart attack. No, there's no use in that. 226-3049.
I left the weights for tomorrow, and the typewriter.
Ah, yes, little Mr. Colonna.
That was funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On his way?
Entering service.
Wouldn't you know? Well, see you later.
Okay.
How long do you think it'll be?
No, I don't know. I may have to go with her. It could be a couple of hours.
Well, ciao.
Yeah. Oh, Cliff, the floor creaks badly up there. Do a quick wash up and get into bed.
I'll buy that.
Hello? Yes, a bad one. I tried to give her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation for about 10 or 15 minutes, but nothing. She's been under the weather. I wanted to call you. Must have been quite a welfare office.
Oh, it was. Everyone had a poignant story. They're creating the play of their own accord.
No notes, no outlines.
This isn't a thriller, Sidney. It's not dependent on intricate plotting and contrived theatrics. These are real people. All I'm doing is bringing them on and letting them spill out their dreams and frustrations, their anger at the bureaucracy.
Joe Papp will have a messenger at the door any minute now.
I was thinking of him as a possible producer. Do you know him?
Oh, slightly. Let me see a few
Oh,
pages.
sure, if you'd like to, but I'd really rather wait till the draft is done. Give you the whole thing in one glorious bundle. Would you mind?
Nah. What's another hour or so?
It's going to take 3 or 4 weeks, I think.
The way you're going, you'll have a trilogy by then.
Nothing doing?
I'm thinking.
Why don't you invite her over, Mrs. Tendor? Talking with her might spark something.
Do you think we ought to risk having her on the premises?
Maybe not when the moon is full, but any other night, why not? Look at the eggs she laid on the Griffin show.
Well, she got rattled when Peter Herkos described all her husbands in such detail.
Oh, Belle Forrester called before you came down. Well, no, she could bring over a casserole or come sew a button. I told her we were managing just fine.
But don't! We don't want to break the flow, do we?
How are you, Sidney?
Really well, thanks.
There are a couple of things I want to talk to you about. Am I disturbing you?
No, glad of the chance to take a break. How come you're not in the city?
I have to be in New Haven this afternoon. The secretary?
Yes.
Oh my, what a fast typist.
He is, isn't he? Come meet him.
Clifford,
Clifford Anderson. This is my friend, Porter Milton.
how do you do?
How do you do, sir?
I would say my attorney, but then he would bill me.
Well, I'm going to anyway. This is a business call, partly at least.
Clifford was at the seminar I conducted in July, and he asked about a secretarial position then, and when Myra passed on, I realized I would need a hand, and I called him. Next day, here he was.
Have typewriter, will travel.
That was very good of you.
Well, it's a privilege to be of help to someone like Mr. Brule.
Oh my, will you look at that? Isn't this a beauty?
Partner's desk.
Oh, where did you find it?
In Wilton. Happened on it a couple of weeks ago. It seemed like it made more sense than cluttering up the room with 2 single ones.
Cost a pretty penny, I'll bet.
It's deductible.
Yes, they can't very well quibble over a writer's desk, can they? Oh, wait till Elizabeth sees this.
Oh, how is she?
Oh, fine.
And the girls?
Oh, couldn't be better. Kathy loves Vassar.
And vice versa, I'm sure. Come on, have a seat.
Shall I go get the groceries now and you and Mr. Milton can talk in private?
Would you mind?
I have to do it sometime before dinner, might as well.
Okay, just a second before I give you some money.
Oh, take your time. I haven't started the clock yet. I love this room.
Isn't it nice? It's a pleasure working here.
He's looking well.
Yes, he's picked up quite a bit in the past few days. It's pretty hard the first week. He cried every night. I could hear him plainly. And he was drinking heavily.
Oh,
But he'll pull through. The work is a great solace to him.
I'm sure it must be. Yes. You know, I've always envied my write-up clients on that account. I tried to play once. About the Supreme Court justice I most admire, but even the title was a problem. Frankfurter.
20 enough?
Too much. We only need salad things. Going to Gibson's.
No, we'll get some yogurt too. Anything but prunes.
Okay. You aren't in the driveway, are you?
No, I parked over on the side.
Well, see you later, or nice meeting you, whichever it turns out to be.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again. Pleasant young fellow. Good looking, too.
Yes. Porter, do you think he's gay, homosexual?
Well, I know what gay means, Sidney. Elizabeth told me long ago. No, he didn't strike me that way.
I have a sneaking suspicion he might be, but as long as he does his job well, it's none of my business, is it?
Well, in essence, he's a domestic employee. And I think that in such circumstances, his sexual preference could be a legitimate matter of concern.
I wasn't asking for a legal opinion, I was just saying it's none of my business.
Oh, well, in that case, no, it isn't.
Let's see. People would talk if I hired a female secretary.
Oh, if she were under 80.
That's what I thought. That's why I hired Clifford.
I'm glad to see you looking so well, Sidney. That's the main reason I've come. I was delegated by Elizabeth and the Westons and the Hobbies. That young man has been discouraging all callers, and we were afraid that you might be in worse shape than he was letting on, but obviously that's not the case.
No, I'm not up to socializing yet. The work is a great solace to me.
What do you want to now?
A play about ESP. It's based on Helga Tendorf, the Dutch psychic. She's a neighbor of ours.
Yes, I know. Tell me, Sidney, is it true what everyone is saying that... Do you mind talking about this?
No, not a lot. Go ahead.
Is it true that she actually pointed to the spot on the floor where Myra was going to fall?
No, it wasn't anything like that at all. She simply came in and said, pain, pain, pain. There's pain in this lady's chest. And Myra said, well, there's slight pain. And she said, still, with your history, you ought to see your doctor. That's right, that's what I gave her for weeks.
It's uncanny being able to sense things that way. I think you'd be able to write a very fine thriller on the subject.
It's coming along. Business time.
Yes. Now, the first item on the agenda is your will. Now that Myra's gone, you ought to look it over. As it stands, if anything should happen to you, your cousins in Vancouver would inherit. Do you want to leave it that way?
No, I'll have to think about it.
Well, do, and don't put it off. And this is the second item. Now, it's only approximate because I don't have all the up-to-date appraisals on the real estate yet, but that's roughly what you can anticipate to give or take a few $1,000s.
I didn't realize there was this much.
Oh, Myra must have been keeping a few secrets then. Well, she knew. Her records were in apple pie order.
Now, how much of this is the government going to grab?
Oh, not too much, really. The first $250,000 of that is exempt from federal taxes, and the state tax, which starts at $50,000, is only a few percent. There's one more point, Sidney. I was talking to Moriesha at the planning board meeting last night, and he said you mentioned something to him about selling off a few acres.
No, I don't think I will now.
Well, you can't. Well, not yet anyway. You'll have to wait till the will goes through probate.
Oh, I know. I just was asking what he thought I could get.
Oh, well, then he was jumping the gun, not you. I just wanted to make sure you were clear on the point. Well, end of business. You've gotten off cheap.
I'm lucky.
Tell me, Sidney, what is the procedure here? You dictate and he types?
No, I do my own typing. He'll do the finished product, of course, and he does letters.
Is that what he was doing before, the letters?
A play of his own.
Oh, yes, the seminar, of course.
Started it yesterday, probably finish it tomorrow.
I hope he's not stealing your ESP idea, Sidney. Have you discussed it with him?
What makes you say that?
Well, he locked what he was working on into the drawer, unobtrusively, but I noticed.
Huh.
Then again, he might be afraid you will steal his idea.
Hardly. Life in a welfare office, the dreams and frustrations of 10 or 15 people you just as soon not spend an evening with.
He's worked in a welfare office?
That's what he was doing.
Oh, well, it may be force of habit then. The people in large offices often lock their desks.
Unobtrusively, just the reverse, I think. Hey, look everybody, I'm locking my desk.
Oh, it may simply be his way of doing things. Oh, look, Sidney, I'm sorry if I've worried you. The suspicious legal mind. Probably he's exactly what he seems to be. An honest and helpful young man, completely trustworthy.
Probably.
Well, I better get moving if I'm going to be in New Haven by noon. Trustees luncheon at Old Eli.
Here.
Oh, thank you. Oh, has the check from the insurance company arrived yet?
No, it hasn't.
Yeah, I'll write them a letter first thing in the morning.
I'd appreciate it.
Will you come have dinner with us?
In a couple of weeks, I may be up to it.
Oh, good enough. Take care.
Same to you. My love to Elizabeth.
I will.
And the girls. Damn old world craftsman. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. Ow! That was quick.
Hell, they went to Gibson's.
Here, give me, I'll put it up.
It's all right, I don't mind.
No, you went shopping, I'll put it up. You get back to the welfare office.
God forbid. Change is in the bowl. That avocado is supposed to be organic. Okay.
Wait, could you come here a second?
Where are you?
Here I am.
Hey, wait.
Oh, there you are. I didn't think you heard me, so I came around. Need those Olympic pins.
Beer now?
Had a mad craving is in the commercials. I shook it a bit, sorry.
You can use an opener on these.
Really?
Sure, doesn't it say so?
Who do they expect to read this? Roaches? You've lost your interest in thrillers, huh?
Uh-huh.
No taste for the intricate plotting and the glib, superficial characters. Want to do something real, meaningful, socially relevant?
Hey, cut it out, will you? Your ideals start coming.
Possibly.
Just relax and don't try to bug me. It'll come.
Deathtrap, a thriller in 2 acts. Characters: Julian Crane, Doris Crane, Willard Peterson, Inga Van Brunt. The action takes place in Julian Crane's study in the Crane home in Westport.
You have one hell of a
Setting. Julian Crane's study is a handsomely converted stable grafted onto an authentic colonial house. A foyer up left leads to the front door. French doors upstage center are flanked by the door to the kitchen and the stairway to the 2nd floor. The French draperies open onto a shrubbery-lined patio. Far left is a brick fireplace, practical to the extent that paper can be burned in it. Room's furnishings are tastefully chosen antiques. A chair, a love seat, a table down stage with liquor decanters, and the focus of the room, Julian's desk. You remember Julian's desk, don't you? The one he worked at before he took crazy Willard Peterson into his home. Patterned draperies hang at the French door. The room is decorated with framed theatrical posters, unlike these, which are window cards, not posters. And a collection of guns, handcuffs, maces, broadswords, and battle axes, several of which I'm going to make use of any second now.
That's it? You're not going to act out the 11 pages? Would you like me to explain?
What's there to explain? You're a lunatic with a death wish. Freud covered it thoroughly.
I have exactly the same wish you have, a success wish.
This is going to bring you success?
Hit me that night. Remember when I threw in that extra speech while you were looking for the key? It can be a terrific thriller.
Oh, in which someone like me and someone like you gives someone like Myra a fatal heart attack.
Yes, at the end of Act 1.
And what, pray tell, is your definition of success? Finding your prom date in the shower room at the state penitentiary?
I knew you'd have reservations about it. That's why my first instinct was to say it wasn't even a thriller. I haven't enjoyed putting you on, Sidney. I'm glad it's all out in the open.
You knew I'd have reservations.
Well, you do, don't you?
I am standing here terrified, horrified, petrified, stupefied, crapping my pants, and he calls that having reservations. I'm not going to use one of those on you. I'm going to beat you to death with Roget's thesaurus.
There is no possible way for anyone to prove what did or did not cause Myra's heart attack. Look, if I could change things, I would, but I can't. It has to be a playwright. Who else can pretend to receive a finished work that would make tons of money?
A novelist, a composer. Why am I discussing this?
A surefire smash hit! Symphony? No. And would a novelist or a composer know where to get a garrote that squirts blood or how to stage a convincing murder? And it has to be a playwright who writes thrillers, because Arthur Miller probably has old sample cases hanging on his wall. I guess I could make it Wilton and out west.
Why make it anywhere? Why make it?
It's there, Sid.
That's mountains, not plays, you idiot. Plays aren't there until some lunatic writes them.
Stop and think about it for a minute, will you? Think about that night. Try to see it all from an audience's viewpoint. Everything we did to convince Myra she was seeing a real murder would have exactly the same effect on them. Weren't we giving a play? Didn't we write it, rehearse it? Wasn't she our audience? Scene 1. Julian tells Doris about this terrific play that's come in the mail. He jokes about killing for it, and then calls Willard and invites him over, getting him to bring the original copy. Audience thinks exactly what Doris thinks. Julian might kill Willard. Scene 2. Everything that happened from the moment we came through that door, all the little ups and downs we put in to make it ring true. The I'm expecting a phone call bit, everything. Tightened up a little naturally. And then, the strangling, which scares the audience just as much as it does Doris.
No wonder you didn't need an outline.
It's all up here, every bit of it. Scene 3. Inge van Bronk. Oh, there is pain in this room. Oh, great pain, pain. A few laughs, right? It couldn't hurt. Julian and Doris get ready to go to bed. Looks as if the act is drawing to a so-so close. And then, pow, in comes Willard, back from the grave and seeking vengeance. Shock? Surprise? Doris has a heart attack. Julian gets up from the fake beating, and the audience realizes that Julian and Willard are in cahoots. There isn't any surefire thriller, and that Willard is moving in. The curtain is Julian burning the manuscripts, or phoning the doctor, I'm not sure which. Now be honest about it. Isn't that a surefire first act?
Oh, yeah. And what an intermission, 20 years to life.
No one can prove it really happened. They can't. How can they?
And what do you say to the man from the New York Times when he says, don't you work for Sidney Bruhl? And didn't his wife have a fatal heart attack about the time you started working there?
No comment.
Oh, my God.
I know it's going to be a little sticky, but, well, everybody's opening up about everything these days, aren't they? In print, on TV. Why not on stage, as long as it can't be proven? I've given it some serious thought, Sidney, and I honestly believe it will help the play. Give it an added dimension of intriguing gossip.
I'm sure you're right. I can see the little box in New York Magazine now. Tongues are wagging over the similarities between the new play Deathtrap and its author Clifford Anderson and his employer Sidney Bruhl, who committed suicide on opening night. When queried, Mr. Anderson said, "No comment." I have a comment, Cliff. No. Absolutely. Definitely no. I have a name and a reputation, a bit tattered, perhaps, but good for house seats, dinner invitations, and the conducting of summer seminars. I want to live out my life as the author of the murder game, not that fag who knocked off his wife. Oh, look, a brick fireplace. I wonder if it's practical to the extent that...
Don't you dare! You burn that, and I'll go out of here and ride it somewhere else. I'll get a house-sitting job. Give it to me, Sidney. Give it. I helped you kill for the chance to become what I want to be. You're not going to take that away from me. So I'd hoped that when you saw the finished draft, you'd be impressed enough to get over your Angel Street uptightness and pitch in, but I guess we can forget about that.
Collaboration?
It's mostly your idea, isn't it? I'm not saying it's all my baby. And I know scene 1 is coming out a little heavy and stilted. I hoped it could be a team, Brule and Anderson.
Rogers and Heartless.
Now you see, I could never come up with something like that.
I'm sorry. I don't feel like collaborating on my public humiliation.
Next season's hit. Don't say I didn't ask. I think that, well, maybe I'd better move out anyway.
Why?
Well, when Helga Tendorf said that a woman was going to use the dagger because of a play, maybe she wasn't that far off target.
Don't be silly. I love you. I wouldn't think of harming you. Besides, you'd break my neck.
You're damn right I wouldn't.
So don't think about leaving.
I don't know. I'm not going to feel comfortable with you being unhappy about all this.
I'll whistle a lot. You know, maybe I am being old-fashioned and uptight about this.
Oh, you are. Geez, these days, who cares about anything?
Certainly could use half the royalties of a good solid hit.
I think there's a movie in it, too.
Porter gave me the figures on Myra's estate. It's not as much as I thought. 22,000, half of which will go to taxes. Well, there's the house and the land, of course, but that'll be in probate for 2 or 3 years, and the insurance money isn't all that much.
The offer's still open.
You know, I was thinking that afternoon that playing the mail thing would make a good first scene. Really?
It's your idea, Sidney. All I did was help with the details. Pretty neat the way you managed it.
Tried breaking in, the damn thing's a fortress. Porter noticed you locking up. I was afraid you might be stealing my ESP idea.
I thought I was being so inconspicuous.
We sharp. Dull, but sharp. I'll do it. Let people talk. I'll watch all the way to the bank.
You mean it?
Brule and Anderson.
Great! We'll make it Wilton, not
I'll bring
Westport.
Westport to hell with it.
Oh, jeez, just think. Me, Clifford Anderson, collaborating with Sidney Brule.
That's from Act 1.
Act 2's going to be a problem.
How so?
Well, we've got the murder in Act 1, 2 murders in effect. Act 2's liable to be a letdown.
Not necessarily.
We'll bring in the detective, of course, the 5th character. I was thinking maybe a Connecticut version of the one in Dial M.
Inspector Hubbard?
Yeah, and Inga Van Bronk ought to come in again. A good comic character like that would be foolish not to make the most of her.
Why don't you go on drafting Act 1? Let me do a little thinking about Act 2.
Mr. Brule! Mr. Brule is I, Helge Tendorf! Mr. Brule! Mr. Brule!
Come in, Mr. Brule's at home now.
I come from Wood. It's less to walk.
He should be back any minute.
Ah, you are?
His secretary, Clifford Anderson.
I am tell you, Tendorp, I am psychic.
Yes, I know. Mr. Brule's told me all about you. I understand you predicted his wife's death.
Oh, yeah. Was much pain. Right here. Oh, so sad. Such a nice lady. Oh, this room. He is well, Mr. Brule?
Yes, fine. He went out to dinner tonight, first time since. He said he'd be back by 10, and it's about 1:15 now.
There'll be big storm. March, wind and rain, lightning and thunder. Trees will fall.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah. Was on the radio. I come to borrow candy. Have none in house. You have?
Well, I don't know. I haven't noticed any, but there must be some somewhere. Why don't you have a seat and I'll go take a look?
Ah, thank you. You wear boots.
Everyone does these days. They're very comfortable.
You are long-time secretary to Mr. Brule?
No, I came about 3 weeks when Mrs. Brule died.
Ah,
I'm going to go look for the candles.
Before that party was well, I could leave.
Hello, Mr. Brule. Mrs. Tendorp is here.
How are you?
oh, good evening, Mr. Brule.
Did you get my note?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Thank you for yours and the flowers for most.
Do we have any candles? There's a storm coming up and Mrs. Tendorp would like to borrow some.
I think Myra kept them on the refrigerator in a box. If not, on the shelf on the landing, a gray cardboard box. I saw you on the Griffin show. It wasn't a very good night, was it? What is it?
This man I call you up, man in boots who attacks you.
God, in the turmoil of Myra's death, I forgot about your warning.
Is he? Oh, candles are not why I have many candles, but tonight I feel such danger here, and in this room is feeling very strong. Oh, you should not have him here.
Well, I just decided tonight I was going to get rid of him. I was talking to my lawyer, asking him to see if there was anything he could find.
Oh, Smith Corona! Ah, is he?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, but naturally, Corona, not Corona. This is why I see on black man's face where do you? Oh, you should send him away to my dear.
Well, I decided I was at least going to give him his notice, and I will now that I've had your warning. Are you sure you saw him attacking?
First like image on TV, so sharp.
Come in, Cliff.
Oh, thank you. I take two. Huh?
You're more than welcome to take more.
Oh, no, two is enough.
It's really blowing up out there.
Oh, yeah, well, sometimes they are right with their predictions. I should say.
No, I'll be fine. I hope you beat the rain.
Oh, yeah, I go through food. It's less to walk. Good night.
Good night. Pretty dark in there. You can be able to find your way.
Oh, yeah, I have torch. Good night. Oh!
What is it?
My daughter! She is pregnant! Oh, so many years they've tried, so many doctors they go to. Oh, and now it made me grandmother. Oh, danke, danke. Oh, I must call and tell them. Yeah,
She told you I'm the man in boots who attacks you?
Yes.
She noticed them just before you came in. Did you know I used a styrofoam log and not one of the weapons?
No, I didn't think it quite advisable. I told her you were giving me karate lessons and we were throwing each other all over the room. If you say the truth, better off you are.
I finished Act 1.
Oh, good. Your evening was better spent than mine.
Yeah, I ended it with Julian on the phone.
How can I go on without her?
He wants the doctor to think he's upset, doesn't he?
Well, your dialogue may be a bit Tin Pan Alley, but your timing couldn't be better. I have Act 2 ready to go.
Terrific.
Well, I think I do. There are a couple of bits of business I want to try, and if they work, then I'll give you the whole thing, scene by scene, as full of surprises.
I can't wait to hear.
Would you go upstairs and check the windows? Sounds like we might be getting Hurricane Alice through Zelda.
How many scenes are there?
3, same as Act 1. I like that sort of symmetry.
All windows closed.
Fine.
What are the bits of business?
They're in the last scene, back to back, as it were. Willard has spilled the beans, and our Connecticut version of Inspector Hubbard has come over to question Julian, who's in his den. Julian, quite berserk, shoots the inspector in the left arm. Well, he only has one bullet. So what he has to try and do is get upstage to get another weapon to finish him off. Now, question number one is, can a one-armed inspector, in otherwise good health, stop a two-armed middle-aged playwright from going where he wants? The answer better be no. I'll be Julian and you be Hubbard.
Okay. Left arm out of position.
Right, okay. Ready? Ready. You're gonna have to try harder than that.
That would look convincing, I think.
Not even to a community theater. Let's give it a good try. Maybe you should be Julian.
I was afraid I would tear your shirt.
Cliff, dear, we're about to become rich and famous. Let's not let a 5-year-old shirt get in the way.
Can't we just let the director and the actors work this out?
That is not the way professional playwrights operate, dum-dum. Professional playwrights do not submit a play until they are absolutely certain it's playable and doable. Now, let's show them while the team of Brule and Anderson is going down in theatrical history.
Okay.
Ready? Pull on. It works.
I think I scratched your neck.
No, I'll survive. Okay, here's the next bit. It's less strenuous and very brief.
I'm glad for that.
Okay, I'll be Hubbard, you be Julian. Go up on the set. Take the axe. It doesn't look natural that way.
Feels natural.
Oh, try it another way.
That doesn't feel right this way.
Come on, come back the way you had it. And put the axe down on the floor. Stand very still. We have goodbyes to say. Deathtrap is over. We are now to theater verite. The gun from gunpoint. No blanks, though, as at the dear old Lyceum. Real bullet, courtesy of Messrs. Remington. I loaded it last night while you were in bed. I really don't want that play to be written. Although nothing can be proven, too much can be talked about. I want to join the Washington secretaries and the ex-lovers of presidents, and the happy hookers and the happily hooked in the national bad taste exposition. And I cannot honestly think of another way from stopping you from setting me up in a centrally located booth. I had Porter check out your records in Hartford. Found a few blots besides the ones you told me about. And Porter feels, well, we discussed it this evening, they justify the unease I've been having about you. So I came home, gave you your notice, you became violent and abusive, and Miss Tendorf's 3-week-old vision came to pass. Beats digging up the vegetable patch now, doesn't it? I'm sorry, Claire. If you hadn't succumbed to thrillerized malignus in what is surely one of the worst acute cases on record, who knows, maybe we could have become the team of Brule and Anderson. As it is, we'll have to be only Brule. I'm out of dialogue, you're go.
What can I say? I'm not going to beg.
Oh, I thought you might promise to become a steam fitter or something.
Would you believe me?
No.
I'm just hoping you'll take pity on a pretty face.
Oh, Claire. I shall miss you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Sidney. I thought a click would be anticlimactic, so I bought some blanks this morning while I was getting the bullets for this one. Sit down, dum-dum. Peripateia? Reversal? You talked about it the first day of the seminar, an important element of all drama. Put that down. So the problem was, I had this terrific first act, but I couldn't think of the second act. It was very frustrating, particularly since I'm sharing bed and board with the old master plotter himself, author of The Murder Game, and of In for the Kill, which I find an even more elegant construction.
Me too.
Yes. Be my guest.
You mean put them all?
That's what I mean.
What are you going to do?
Continue gloating. Through the arm of the chair. Don't play dumb. Through the arm. So there I am with my problem. Sydney's not going to help me with it. Not voluntarily. This I know from square one. Sydney uses 3 kinds of mouthwash and 4 kinds of deodorant. Not for him the whiff of scandal. But is there maybe a way that I can harness that 17-jewel brain and set it to work for me, all unwittingly? So, I begin writing Act 1, and each time I leave the desk, I inconspicuously lock the drawer. So inconspicuously, in fact, that for a day and a half, smart Sydney doesn't even notice. But no old Porter comes in, thank God, and saves me the embarrassment of getting heavy-handed and leaving a loose page lying around.
You really are a snot, you know that?
Would you mind saying that into the microphone? So there we are, Brule and Anderson. I write, Sydney thinks. Yeah, I don't sleep much. Last night, for instance, I barely got a wink, what with all the tiptoeing that was going on. But I'll make it up next week. Thank you for Act 2. No Inspector Hubbard. Julian's lawyer is the big character. Scene 1. Julian finds out that Willard is writing the real Deathtrap about Doris's murder, with changed names, of course. He pretends he'll collaborate, but asks old Peter Pilgrim or something to check up on Willard, knowing full well there are false and unfair charges to be found. Scene 2. Julian sets up Willard for what will look like murder in self-defense by getting him to enact various bits of the play. That's beautiful, Sydney. That whole thing we just did, it'll play like a dream, and I never would have thought of it. I'm really in your head. Julian shoots Willard, who's basically an innocent kid Julian led astray. But the very next moment, Inga Van Bronk and Peter Pilgrim come in. She's called him because she's been getting bad vibes all night. They met at Doris's funeral. Willard lives just long enough to tell the truth about himself and Julian and Doris's murder. Julian shoots himself. Kurt.
No Scene 3?
About what? They're both dead. The play's over.
Well, sounds a little unsatisfying. I'll be glad to help you think.
No thanks, I'll manage to fill in the holes. And now I'm going to pack and call a taxi. I'm taking whatever money I can find. And before I leave, when the cab is at the door, I'll give you the key. You'll tell people that you gave me my notice, and I accepted with grace and charm. Oh, and if you say that I stole anything, or hassle me in any way, you'll be opening up a very messy can of peas. How about that? You got a bit of Angel Street to keep you company. Maybe I'll plant some rubies upstairs. See you anon.
Police department. My name is Brule. I live out Rabbit Hill Road. You need to get out here. You're not going to believe this, but I just killed my secretary. He was coming at me with an axe. No, it's the truth. You need to come out. But wait till you hear this part. You're going to think I'm drunk, but I'm stone cold sober. Yes, I shot him with a crossbow. It's all I can get my hands on. Please come out. Oh, and you better bring some flashlights. The name is Brule. B-R-U-H-L, Sydney. Well, how nice of you to know. His name was...
They killed Mrs. Brule.
What? She died of a heart attack.
No, they make it to happen. Pain she feels is that she sees Brule kill boy.
Now hold on a minute. The boy didn't...
Quiet! Brule shows her play from boy. Good play. Here it comes. Brule kills boy tight around his neck to take play. She helps him carry boy out. Pain she feels brings me. But now I am gone. And the boy is from grave, comes with log. No, my, try to help, no, stop! Ah! She dies.
My God, a fake murder to bring about a real one. Are you sure that's what happened? Oh, I thought it was strange, the boy stepping in on such short notice.
Was no play.
There wasn't?
No. But now boy writes it, all they have done. Brule discovers.
I saw the boy locking his drawer.
He's afraid, Brule. Play will bring shame.
A play about them killing Myra? Well, I'll bet he was afraid.
Pretends to help, tricks boy to take axe, foreplay, and shoots with gun. Oh yeah. Yeah, but he's no bullet. Boy has tricked him to make more of play. Chains him. There you go. Chains come apart.
The Houdini set.
Oh yeah, Brule shoots boy upstairs with arrow.
The boy falls down and Sidney puts the axe by him.
Burns play.
The ashes in the fireplace.
Calls police.
And while he was speaking,
boy puts arrow from chest and attacks. Just as I saw 4 weeks ago.
my God, what a story. It's better than the murder game.
You are thinking it could be play?
It certainly has a feel of one, doesn't it? Everything happening in one room, 5 characters.
Deathtrap.
Say, that's a catchy title. I couldn't write Frankfurter, but maybe I could write Deathtrap.
Oh yeah? Yeah, I see theater now. Oh, inside much applause. Outside long lines of ticket buyers shivering and cold.
Oh my goodness, that's encouraging.
But it's my idea.
Your idea? Well, how can you say that? It was Sidney's idea, and the boys. They lived it.
But if I not tell, you not know.
Well, that's true. I can't deny that. And you've given me a title, which I may or may not use.
We share money, haven't we?
Are you serious? I'm going to go home and work nights and weekends for months. Maybe even give up my vacation. All you've done is come in here and touch your furniture for 2 minutes. Now, if in fact I do decide...
If you not share money, I tell about telephone.
Telephone?
Yeah. Yeah, you speak through handkerchief in high voice. Say dirty words to all your friends or for shame. Oh, a man like you, important lawyer with wife and 2 daughters. No, 3 daughters are to make such telephonics. Oh.
Oh, you interfering busybody!
Much enough. Night is sharp. Amsterdam police have taught me telephone.
Oh, you Dutch pervert, you phony psychic!
Oh.